there it is. I will talk about each question. Please do me the courtesy of not bothering trying to write all this down right now. You won't get it written down. You were supposed to have already tried it. It is recorded. You can go back and check on it later. Because there's one thing I want to do today to actually show you something about trig that I forgot to show you. I'm a dummy. I forgot, so I got to show it to you. So I do have a small thing to teach you before it's time for you to start your review. Okay? So let us start with this. This question is right here. Please notice there's a couple of things we had to do. All the way across was 55. So the key to this question was each triangle had an adjacent of 27.5. So I had to use tan to solve it. I've written it all out right there. Again, you can check this on your own later. If you did your work like you were supposed to, you should just be looking and seeing if you have 15 and 18. 19, because it was nearest yard. Thank you. It had to round up. I'll wait a second and move along. This question we set up on Friday because it was tricky. I needed angle GHJ, which is this entire angle. To find that, I knew the 6. If I knew this whole side, I could have used tan. I only had one part of it, so I had to find this part of it. This part right here uses this red triangle, 6, 9, and blank. So this part was the square root of the hypotenuse squared, 81, minus 36, which was the square root of 45. No, I lie. No, it was 45, which was 6.7. 6.7 plus 4 gets me this 10.7. Then I had 10.7 and 6, and I used tan to find 61. This was the 2 guy wire question. It's a bad question because if you don't know what a guy wire is, it's tough. A guy wire is just that cable that goes from the ground up to a pole. You've seen them all before. You see a telephone pole, it's got that wire down to the ground. That's what a guy wire is. I explained it on Friday. So that is what you had to do. I needed the length of the wire. So I had to do wire plus wire. So there was the green wire, which used 8 and 32 to find the hypotenuse, which I had to use cos. Then there was the yellow wire, which was 56 and 8. And again, I used cos, and then I just added them together. Again, writing it down now will be difficult. You will want to check it later. Peeping Tom stands over here. He looks up and sees Elizabeth with an angle of 10. He looks down and sees Sandra with an angle of 40. I want to know how far apart they are. So all you do is use tan to find out how far above Tom Elizabeth is. And you knew Sandra up to Tom was 130 because Tom was 130 off the ground. Then all you did was add them together. You got 157 feet, which is approximately 16 floors because 10 feet to a floor.
He's a nasty boy.
He is. It's an isosceles triangle, so 8 and 8 had to be the same, which means these angles had to be the same. Since this was 12 all the way across, this cuts it in half. That makes it 6. All I needed to do was shift cos, because I had the adjacent and the hypotenuse to get 41 degrees, which is all written right there. This is a similar question. Yi is on the top of this building. Angle of elevation to the top is 37. Angle of declination to the bottom is 28. I want to know how tall the other building is. So I use tan up here, tan down here, and added them together, which I have shown right there. Tan of the black, tan of the red, use that. And finally, the mountain question. They're on both sides of the mountain. The mountain is 1,350 feet tall. I had one angle of elevation, another angle of elevation. This guy had to walk up here. This guy had to walk up here. All I had to do was add them together. I had to use sine because I had opposite, but I needed two hypotenuses. Everybody good? If you're not good, you can watch this video later. There was nothing special here. The key is what? Draw a triangle. If you draw a triangle and you write out everything you know about it, you can't do trig wrong. Okay? Everybody should be at the same spot now. Now, a few days ago, I did some work on a page in your book that showed angles in the real world. Your guys' one looked like this. It had me surfing and crashing, right? And that's how I did angle of elevation and angle of depression, right? Okay. Well, I forgot to do something there. And what I forgot to do there was the next thing that we do in real life. So at the bottom of page 56, please draw a line, and hopefully you have some blank space at the bottom. Because this is what I had to show you today, because I'm a dummy head.
No.
I am, Jack. It's okay. Everybody draw that. Actually, I lie. Draw two of them. This is the other thing we use angles in real life for. Never eat soggy wieners. Never eat shredded wheat. Never eat. Everybody's got a million of those. So, we're going to talk about this one first. You guys have all seen TV shows, movies, stuff like that, where they say they're tracking something or they got to find something. Oh, he's heading off at a bearing of 382 degrees, or that wouldn't be right. 187 degrees, right? Yeah, 382 makes no sense. But everybody has seen that, right?
Yes.
All that is angles, okay? There's two ways we measure directions. One way we go from 0 and we count that way up to a total of what?
360.
360. Well, 359 and a bit, right? So, if this is 0, north, how many degrees is east? 90. How many degrees is south? 180. How many degrees is west? 270. So if I tell you I'm walking at a 90-degree heading, what direction am I walking? Directly east. Does everybody understand that? Okay, we start counting at north and we count clockwise. So if I told you that Myers is walking at a heading of come on, you can do it. 160 degrees. Where would the line that I was walking be?
It'd be southeast.
It would be down here, yes? Does everybody understand that? Now, if I wanted to do some trig and find out how far I walked, do I have a triangle yet? No. I need to either do this or this, correct? If I use the red triangle, all the way down to here is 160, yes? How much is this little bit in here for the triangle? 20. Because all the way would be 180, but I only went to 160. Everybody with me? If this much is 20 and I needed to use this triangle, what would this theta be? 70. Why? Because this is 90, this is 20 of it, that's 70. Does everybody understand the left-hand side of directions? So, if I told you that I wanted TJ to walk at a bearing of 300 degrees, where would that be? Where do I start? Now I'm looking for 300 degrees. Where should I start? Here, right? Can't run there. Here's 270. So if I come up here, that's the direction he's going to be walking, yes? If I want to do trig with that, I know this is at 300, yeah? Can I do trig with that yet? Not until I make a triangle. If I make that triangle, how much is this? 30. Because 300 goes all the way to there, and I know this is 270. So there's 30 right there. What if I have to make this triangle?
60.
Then what's this? 60. Because the whole thing would be 90, and that's 30 of it. Is everybody good with the left side of the triangle? Or the left directions? Everything over here, you're cool. Okay. There's two ways that we measure direction. Come over here, we're going to do the other way. North, east, south, west. The other way we measure direction is this. We have a start, an adjustment, and a adjustment amount, and an adjustment direction. Okay, and it's a little complicated. So I really need you to actually pay attention here. Start would be the direction we were walking if we made no changes. Okay? So I'm going to start with the easiest one. If I told Jake to walk straight north, the directions would be this. N. And he would walk straight north. Does everybody understand that? I would just start with an N and that would be it. No adjustment. He's walking north. Cool? But I don't actually want him to walk north. I want him to walk somewhere out over here. So, if I want Jake to walk over this way, I would tell him to start walking north, but adjust. He would adjust this distance to what direction? East, south, or west? East. So this distance is the adjustment amount. 20 degrees in the eastern direction. So we would write it as N20E. Jake would start north, but he would bear to the right 20 degrees because east is to the right of north. Does everybody understand that? So if I told Jack to walk south 40 west, where would that line be? He would start going south, but he's not really walking south, is he, Nick? He's walking which direction? Is he going to turn that way, blue, or that way, gray? Blue, how far? 40 degrees. So Jack would be walking down here, yes? Where would the 40 be? X or Y? X would be the 40. So you could do trig now, couldn't you? What would Y be?
The hypotenuse.
No. What would that angle be? 50. Is everybody cool with the right-hand side of directions? So if you told me to walk west 30 north, where would I need to go? I would start going this way, but I would adjust up here, how far?
40 degrees.
30, because I said 30 north.
Oh.
If that's 30, then I can make my triangle and do trig. Or if I had to make this triangle up here, what would this one be? 60. Can everybody do that? Brianna. If this part's 40, this whole section is 90, isn't it? And I've used 40 of it there, so that has to be 50. You got it? Okay. Is everybody cool? Yeah? Okay. I'm going to shut up so you can start working. I'm going to still be here for 20 more minutes. You should be working on page 73?
Yeah.
Okay, now listen to me. Listen, please. This is... Remember how I said that if you sit together and you piss me off, I'd make you move? How close do you think you three are getting? And yes, I'm including you in that, Tasha. How close do you think you're getting? Good. You want to sit together? Then when I'm talking, what are you doing? Better than being quiet. You're paying attention. Got it? If you don't want to pay attention, don't be here. It's that simple. Okay? Now, this is a review, which means it is for marks because there are no answers attached to this. You use your notes, you talk to each other. Now, every single time I give this assignment, every single kid in the class screws up. Here's what I mean. They get to number 5. Don't turn the page. The first page has 1 to 4. They get to number 5, and they cannot figure it out. So they stop working. Please notice the question goes till number 11. The assignment goes till 11. Is it better to stop at 5 because you don't get that one question worth 3 marks and then do nothing else? Or is it better to skip that question, do everything else, and then come back to 5?
Skip.
There you go. 5 is slightly complicated to draw. The trig is not hard. Okay? I will give you one hint to number 5. Now you can turn the page over if you want. It requires 2 triangles that are connected. That's your hint. All right? This is due page 71 to 73 to 76 is due 4 marks tomorrow. Do I make myself clear? I am here for 20 more minutes, then I am out because I got to go to an appointment. Ms. Jansen is coming in here. Ms. Jansen will say she can't do math. She's a liar. She can do a bit of it. Okay? So you can ask her. I don't know how much trig she remembers, but you can try. But you shouldn't need to ask her. Why? Because you got each other, you got notes. And there ain't nothing new because we're at a review. I will make one other thing. If you turn to page 75, there's this map. That map, on my map, you can quite plainly see there's a line from the word Curtis Point to this point of land. That is hard to see on your book. It didn't photocopy well. This point of land is Curtis Point. Okay? Some kids do this question with Curtis Point out in the middle of the ocean. Some just spot in the ocean.
It's Curtis Point, man.
Yeah. No. Curtis Point is that point of land. This is Kingfisher Point. This is Fernie Island. All the rest of them are pretty self-explanatory. They're all named. Roberts Point, Armstrong Point. Okay? Everybody cool? And you will notice that this question uses the left-hand side of your notes, the ones I just did. This question uses that. And question 5 uses the right-hand side of your notes, east of north. Nice. Everybody cool?
Oh, boy,
Nick.
am I ready.
I'll come help you in a moment. Everybody is working. Everybody is getting this done for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will mark this. We will mark your quiz. I will hand it back to you. You will have this to study from, and you will be testing on Thursday. Josh. Tomorrow night is Meet the Teacher. It is not parent-teacher conferences. So, your parents, should they choose to come and say hello to me, I have 15 minutes with all the parents from each block. So it is not a, hey, how's my kid doing? Understand? They're going to come in. I'm going to show them this book. I'm going to show them what we're doing. And I'm going to show them, check my mark on YouTube. That's what your parents are going to see if they come here tomorrow. I'm not going to be sitting down and talking about you particularly with them. That is another day later on when we have more grades. Understand? Everybody cool? Jack.
I think I left my calculator in Van B's class. Can I go grab it?
Yes, please do. Okay?